Hi, I'm Rob Fowler. I'm playing Falco in Bat Out of Hell. This is my humble abode, and there's a bit of Falco memorabilia around the room, but more importantly, next door is the wonderful Sharon Sexton. Let's go and get her. She's always late.
Look at me, ready! You can't come in here because it's too messy.
Right.
Let's go.
Let's go to the stage. Blair Witch style.
Yeah. You go. I'm Sharon. I play Sloane, Bat Out of Hell. And this is our walk down to the stage.
At least 10 times during the show we have to do this up and down walk, which it seems kind of nice going down, but...
Not so nice going up.
Yeah, not so nice going up.
Right, so we go
So-
stage right?
Yep, stage right to the quick change area, stage left to basically the water fountain, and another way onto stage.
Neither of us really hang out here too much because
Because all our quick changes are so fast, we
So
have to do
fast.
them side stage.
yeah. But this is where all the fun happens.
This is Wham! This is where everybody gets their wigs prepped, changed. So this is, if I'm
Girls.
correct, I don't normally come in here, well never. This is the girls' quick change area. It's actually quite tidy for girls. Am I allowed to say that? And this is Sharon wearing a militia helmet. And
This is Rob wearing a Sloane costume.
Right, what do we have? We have a lot of
This is our CO2. There's so many
CO2.
special effects in the show, which we won't go into, but if you look at carbon dioxide and the amount of stuff that's here, you kind of get the idea. There's a lot of
yeah, there's a lot of CO2 pushed out from under the stage and
Explosions,
explosions and special effects. It's kind of like you meet a Marvel movie with musical theatre, because you've got this kind of world that joins to a how do you say a make-believe world, Neverland.
Yeah.
So here we are. We have the militia outfits, well, the helmets and gloves.
These are so hot. I'd really feel for our ensemble, especially during the summer when we get really hot in London, because as you can see, that's the jackets and stuff here. So all of these, they're really heavy, and the guys do the most amazing routines in that stuff.
Yeah, and by hot she means heated up, not sexy. I get the sexy clothes.
Hello, my name is Sharon Sexton, and I play Sloane in Bat Out of Hell.
My name's Rob Fowler, and I play Falco, her husband in Bat Out of Hell.
Sloane Falco.
Falco. We were there from the beginning of the creation of this version of the show. I mean, Jim wrote it apparently over 40 years ago, and it's been through many roller coasters of writing and rewriting, and yeah, when we started in 2016,
December 2016.
we were given a book and told that this is going to be the show that's going to Manchester Opera House.
Yeah. And since then, I think we can kind of say now that we've been running it for like over a year and a bit, that we have created the kind of
Yeah, we
essential
created these
Falco
roles
song.
with the aid of our director Jay Shipe, and that's what you see today on stage in the Dominion Theatre.
I think they've been very clever, actually, the producers and stuff with this company, about letting it grow. And because the music is so important to people, and because there's so much history behind the script, they really gave us time to play and to change things around and to edit the script. And it's kind of developed a cult following already. So by the time it's gotten to London, it feels like it's grown up quite a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely settled.
Yeah, big time.
And it's not that things become safer, they just become more concrete and
deeper
Yeah,
and more layered and
exactly.
stuff, you know? I mean, we've gone through so many changes. We've always had this amazing set, but there's so many little details that we've put in, like ourselves as well, throughout the touring versions, like Rob's bat, which he designed himself pretty much, and our costumes. And
yeah, my character has a baseball bat during the show at one point, and we were allowed quite a bit of input in costume, not design of the costume, but the little details, the attention to detail, we were allowed a lot of input in.
Yeah.
And I feel that the characters also consist of our CVs. So if you looked at the CVs of the actors that are playing any character in Bat Out of Hell, you could go, oh, they played Sweeney Todd, or they played whatever it may be.
Yeah.
There's a bit of, you invest so much of yourself every night into a role, and that sometimes it goes unwritten, unsaid, in musical theatre world, they just think you coming on stage and you're saying a few words and singing a few songs, but you give a bit of yourself.
Yeah, especially when you make it. You said a lovely thing the other day, actually, because we were actually talking to some people who are currently in castings for other productions of this tour, of this show, because the show is probably, I would imagine, can go worldwide, but they were asking about us creating the roles and stuff, and you're going, you said a palette, and that's exactly what it is. It's like you take the bits of you that you know work and you try and put it into something and create it, like the Nancy's or the Lizas or the other bits and pieces that I've done, and that makes it a joy to actually go out and play every night, because you're playing to your strengths, because you've made it. And I think that's for every character in this show. So much of themselves are in it. It comes across. We've really kind of
most definitely
bonded as a family, and I think that absolutely shows on stage when we rock the Dominion every night.
We have near on 40 people in the cast.
37?
Do we?
I think it used to be 39.
Yeah.
What I love about this show is that every single character has a name, and all of our ensemble, like, these costumes are so created to the roles that they play, and that's what I mean about the show developing.
Exactly, we have names from denim to Liebeswusch.
I can't say half of them.
Many changes, not only to the show via the book, but costumes, set being more eccentric.
The whole plot, actually. Yeah. We've actually kind of moved scenes around and changed the order of certain things.
Yeah.
Numbers have been cut, other numbers have been replaced them, and you know, it's all to make the piece stronger. I think it's probably in the strongest position that it was now, but I don't think that they'll ever finish creating it, because what do they say about musicals? They're not written there.
Rewritten. Welcome.
I don't know whose room this is. Have you any idea whose room we're in? I mean, who could possibly be here? Oh.
Just a little bit of memory. Welcome back to my dressing room, and we were talking about basically the stamina you need to get through an 8-show week.
Yes, the obstacle course that is the set, Bat Out of Hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very high energy show. You can see from the moment the show kicks off, it's like, it doesn't stop.
And working on a rake stage, you know, is also can take its toll on your stamina, because it's a different body positioning and.
But it's hard when you have your blood pumping and that adrenaline in you, and you're listening to that level of rock and roll music, and you're singing these songs. You kind of forget about it, and you just give it everything, and then you come off afterwards, and you're like, oh my gosh, I've been to war. So, and it does feel like that, especially for us for Paradise for the Dashboard Light, which is probably the most exhausting thing that I have to do, because it's like an 8-minute song and it's a marathon.
And with it being such a, I mean, like most of Jim's songs, so iconic, you have to be so on point vocally, but we're doing such a physical routine for anybody that's not seen the show so far. This scene, and not only because we're in it, is definitely worth a gander. It's one of the many highlights of the show.
Yeah, it's incredible. But then you have to do Land of the Pig as well, which is all...
Yeah, it's a bit more like a rock anthem, so it's...
But he's climbing cages, climbing rocks, climbing towers, jumping all over the place, and it's that kind of thing where you set it, and you create it, and you want it to be the best it can possibly be in the rehearsal room, and then afterwards you go, oh, what did I do that for? I have to do that 8 shows a week. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So you set yourself that challenge, but you do it.
Yep. I think once it's in your body, you find your limitations, and you can make everything look how it needs to look.
Funny thing about this set, though, which I thought was really good, that our stage manager said to us, and to particularly the new people who've joined the company this year, is that your backstage track is just as important as your onstage track.
Definitely, yeah.
Because 100%. Especially there's so much... there is danger with this set as well, because there's so many steps and
so many moving parts.
Yeah, exactly, and you know, it is kind of that thing of we all have our routine of where we are at certain points, and then you know if you meet somebody during the show that you don't usually meet, that one of you is in the wrong place.
Exactly, and because there's so many magical special effects in Bat Out of Hell, it's got elements of the Harry Potter magic, and it really does make the audience gasp a couple of times in the show, where they will be talking about how did that happen during the whole intermission. So there's, and all that, with that going on stage, that means there's a lot going on backstage to make that happen.
Yeah, so it's very busy. I think that's what makes this show so unique, because it's opened the door for so many other people who don't usually come to musical theatre, whereas for a lot of people who are into rock music or who've been fans of Meatloaf or Jim and followed their work, for so many of them this is their first time actually coming to see a piece of theatre. And you hear an awful lot of our fans who have now gone on to go, oh, this is what musical theatre is, who've gone on to experience of the shows in the West End. So it's a great door opener, I think, this show.
Yeah, I think the fan following from Bat Out of Hell is so special because it's also introducing both worlds of musical theatre together, because you've got, like Sharon said, that you've got the rockers and I would basically put it down in a smaller sentence to say that it gives the mid-50s, 60-year-olds that taste of their wasted youth.
Yeah,
again.
that nostalgia.
Yeah, and that's what they do. And they bring their kids, and the kids probably are like, oh, I don't know Meatloaf, and then afterwards...
We've heard that so many times, yeah.
The music from Jim Steinman is so timeless that the kids, the 18-year-olds, they can relate to the Stratton Raven characters, the parents relate to this dysfunctional marriage, and there's enough for everybody, and that's why I think Bat Out of Hell can speak to so many different age groups, because it's joining different fan clubs, it's joining different age groups, it's bringing
characters for everybody to identify with. Even
it's not a jukebox musical, and that's what we want to get away from. There's nothing against jukebox musicals, but this is not a jukebox musical. It's a story with music from Jim Steinman. A lot of people have said, especially from the launch in the old church, that we have vocal cords of steel.
Pipes of steel.
And I'll basically quote Andrew Pollock, who plays the lead boy in this show called Strat. He said, to be in Bat Out of Hell, you have to be a vocal Olympian, because Meatloaf set the bar so high, and we're doing this 8 shows a week. Meatloaf used to sing all the songs, take my hat off to him, because he sang every single song in his concerts, but we are doing it 8 times a week.
So it's about pacing yourself,
exactly.
Isn't it?
And some of the characters, most of the characters are so physical, and with this
and
stage,
emotional.
and emotional, mentally, physically, you have to work out to be in this show, 100%. I mean, there's a bit of, how would I say, you see a lot of flesh, but not in a bad way, in a good way. So
well, it would
everybody
be in a bad way if we didn't run every day.
Exactly, yes. And
vocally we have to take really good care of ourselves, but your muscles kind of, they become used to the task that's set in front of them.
Muscle memory, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but you feel it when you take a couple of days off. I had a few days off there a few weeks ago, only 3. So I didn't do the show, and when I came back, my body felt it. So it's like being on a treadmill. When you're doing it every day and you keep your stamina up, it's fine. But this is actually now the longest run that we will have ever done the show for, because in the last year we've had breaks of a few weeks in between each venue. And I think from next week onwards will be the longest that we will have done it for. So that'll be interesting to try and keep the stamina up.
Yeah, but I also think you have to take into consideration that if these songs are naturally in your voice, then it's not going to be as challenging as somebody who's probably 2 tones lower naturally, and they have to force that out 8 shows a week. The casting of this show was through David Grimrod and Will Burton, such I'm sure a challenging process, because they had to find these vocal Olympians who could sustain the same quality 8 shows a week. And yes, you have to drink all your water and do all your little tricks. There's a book coming soon, which we're going to write.
We really are, honestly. We will look, because it's so funny. Anytime anybody has any kind of problems or concerns or queries about their voice, I think it's because we're mom and dad.
Yeah.
We both get the knock on the door.
It's like Dr. Rob and Dr. Sharon.
We have all our tricks up our sleeve, and we all depend on each other. And somebody's running upstairs for some paprika, and somebody else is running downstairs for Manuka honey or a lozenge or all the other secrets, which we'll tell you in the book.
Coming to stores near you soon. My backstage ritual is I have to have my jewellery on in a certain time, and I have to use my weights before Paradise because of what I'm wearing or not wearing in Paradise.
I have to sit on the motorbike that says paradise on it before I go out, saying what part of my body hurts the most. Because it's paradise is on the thing, and it's just a thing I do, and now I think I will have a bad show if I don't do that. I also have to touch both cushions on the couch before I'm wheeled. I don't know why. I think it's just to check that they're there, but I know that they're there, and I know the crew are there, and I know that they'll be okay, but I have to do a touch, sit.
Sometimes it's nice to like stick your finger in somebody's nose.
Oh, what was that for?